Alrighty, so I have now had this MSI laptop for about 3 months, and I just want to do another review about it because I have been using this non-stop as my primary computer. Haven't been using any of my other computers other than this for the past, I want to say 2 weeks non-stop to play every game that I play. And so far, it's been absolutely wonderful. Um, I like it a lot for the price point. It has a 6-core, 12-thread processor, which runs a little bit hot, but nothing that you can't fix with rethermal pasting. This is the laptop that I have, and it's currently on sale for $800. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM. I bought this one, but I upgraded it myself, which is super easy. It's not actually as invasive as it may seem if you look up videos. I can assure you it's actually super easy to do. Like, I would say out of hardness, like a 3 out of 10. If you watch videos, it might look like it's going to be quite a challenge to get the plastic off the bottom, but it actually doesn't go too bad. The strongest game that I have played would probably be Dying Light 2 on all high settings. I get 60 FPS at least. Some drop down to 50 depending on what's going on, but a solid 60. Games like Fortnite and Rainbow Six Siege easily stay at the 144 FPS that I was hoping for. So I can't complain about that. The computer is very quiet when it's not gaming, so if you're planning to use it for school, it's not loud whatsoever. Like, I can just hear a solid breeze, but it could also be my cooling. Oh, it's probably my cooling pad, to be honest. I don't want to turn it off. I don't want to reach for it. But it's not very loud. I keep my battery set to 50% charge, so if I have it plugged in all the time, it only gets 50%, so the battery won't die. I have replaced the RAM in this to 16. I have upgraded the storage with an extra 512 gigabytes. The 512 it comes with just isn't enough if you have a bunch of games. If you're only having a few games that you want to play, it's perfectly fine. You're gonna have no problems, but definitely having at least 1 terabyte today's day and age is enough to hold like a solid 10 games you play on the regular. So things that I like, it's affordable, it runs everything really well. The RTX in this thing is very similar to the RTX 2060 laptop. I had that before I got my 2070 Super, and the FPS that I'm getting out of this thing is pretty similar to that. But at the time when I bought that thing, it was like $500. This thing was 1,000 for me in Canada. This laptop's on sale in Canada and in the States. So both those countries have it on sale. I'm not sure about anywhere else. I don't really look too much outside there. Um, Negatives about it. I don't like the black. It shows fingerprints, which I know that I said before, and I don't like how you can't change the colors of the keyboard. The red looks fine, like it looks cool, but it would be nice if they put it in, you know, uh, RGB keyboard. At least not even to change colors like the HyperX, but just be able to just select a color and that's the color that you get, like how Gigabyte has it. At least you have that option. To change up the look of it, it wouldn't have cost them very much whatsoever to just be able to do that. So that would have been nice. Um, the plastic part up here, when you go and take it apart so many times, it stops sticking as well as it used to. So that's something to consider if you are planning to upgrade the RAM and storage and redo the thermal paste to help with temps. I would say do it all in one go. I have opened this computer several times. I want to say probably about 6 or 7, and that starts to happen over time. So if you are going to open it, I say get it all done in one shot and don't have to worry about opening it again until it's time to redo the thermal paste. I use a secondary monitor pretty much every time I use this thing, other than when I'm on the go. I noticed that you do have an FPS drop if you're just using the laptop screen because it tries to fluctuate between the iGPU and the GPU, so that's something to consider. If you plug it straight in with a HDMI, straight into a secondary monitor, it cuts out the iGPU completely, and the regular RTX 3060 handles all the graphics 100%. So that increases your FPS by, I want to say at least 5 or 10 FPS. Uh, huh. That's weird. I don't know what the hell that is. Whatever. I'm gonna say no to that. I have tried very, very hard to get the temps on this thing down. I have went into the BIOS to change the offset to something ridiculously negative. I have unlocked it with the Shift Control Alt F2. Went into throttle stop, reduced it there, and still doesn't get any cooler. The only thing that I noticed that you can do is turn off the turbo mode for the CPU, which is fine for GPU demanding games. You might lose like 5 FPS, but if you're playing a CPU demanding game and you have turbo off, you're going to tank like 30 FPS right off the top. So a game like Valorant, it will be super noticeable that that's on. So the best thing I would say is just change out the thermal paste to something thick. I used Arctic before. Arctic didn't work. I don't want to say it didn't last. It was fine. It was still wet when I went to go take it off. But Arctic is a very I want to say more wet of a thermal paste, and with the temperatures of this laptop, that doesn't work too well. You want something thicker, like Grizzle, but yeah, Arctic works fine for desktops, but does not work very well for laptops. So if you are looking at replacing the thermal paste, you can easily go onto Reddit and look on there, and a lot of people will have other sort of options for you, depending on where you live. That would be better. So if you are the casual gamer or hardcore gamer, this thing will work perfectly fine. It would be great for schoolwork as well. I personally bought mine to use with my Oculus Rift or my HTC Vive. I got the Oculus when I'm on the go going around, and I have my HTC Vive in my living room for my stationary setup, where I only play it here pretty much, and it does VR perfectly. I have no complaints whatsoever. I don't get motion sickness. The FPS isn't bad, even on higher settings. Phasmophobia, The Forest, all those games run really, really good. So if you are looking for a laptop and you don't have a lot of cash or you don't want to drop a lot of money, but you want something that's modern and can play all modern games, for $800, this one's well worth it. And then after like $100 of upgrades, upgrade to 16 gigabytes of RAM, replace the thermal paste, and upgrade the storage to another M2 SSD, you're going to have pretty much as very similar to a medium end desktop for a lot less money. So I say that it's worth it.